I've just been working on the fit of this panel, and just a few changes around here. I might just have to trim about 1 millimetre off that. It's still sticking out a bit. This flange is just a bit short. I don't like that. I actually might cut this off and weld it so it comes up even with the panel there. It's just for some reason it's just not right. The everything straight is just a bit short on this end, so I'll cut a piece probably from here and then weld it across. I'll use TIG to do that. But before I do that, I'll be marking where the plug welds are to go, and I'll plug weld this stage. I'm thinking from the inside might be better, or a better look anyway. It's obviously easier to weld it from this side, so I'll think about that. But this flange is still sitting up a bit. It's not meeting the panel there, so I've got to knock this down carefully to make sure it fits properly. Everywhere else it's fitting nicely up in there. The fit here is pretty good. I've just got to just straighten things up there. I'll be plug welding from this side on this section. It's only a very narrow flange, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I should be able to get that right. The other problem I had on the other side, up on here, this curve was just sticking up in here, so I've knocked that down, so that's now right, and it's fitting well in here. So basically it's getting it ready for plug welding, and then as part of that process, of course, is working out whether I'm going to TEC screw or clamp when I'm doing the plug welds. Along here I'll probably clamp rather than putting TEC screws, but on here I'll have to put TEC screws through here, otherwise I just can't hold it. I don't have clamps big enough to get around, so definitely TEC screws across there. It'd be TEC screws probably up to about here, and then here I can clamp these. So it's coming together nicely. Certainly fits better now than it did before. Once I've got the TEC screws in place, I'll do a trial fit of the petrol tank and the tyre, just to make sure that everything is in proper alignment. I don't want to weld everything up and find out I can't get it in. Well, certainly the petrol tank will be the problem. It's a very tight fit as it is, but I should be able to work that out okay. Just a final check to make sure that everything fits. Petrol tank went in okay. Obviously the spare's plenty of room for that. So what I'll be doing now is to do the plug weld holes in the repair section. So I'll just empty all this out, pull the boot floor out and start drilling it. I had toyed with putting the plug welds and doing them from the inside, but it's just going to be a little bit too awkward to get a clean run along the floor, so I'll be welding the floor in from the car inverted, so it'll just make it a lot easier to weld in. So anyway, I'll start drilling the welds, the plug weld holes, and then fit it up with TEC screws. So I'm not ready to weld yet, but certainly getting a lot closer. I've finished drilling all my plug well holes on the repair section here, and more on the back there. All the holes here, holes along here, and what I've just been doing is just sealing up the metal that I actually won't be able to get to with a spray gun once I've got all the panels on. So all of this is sprayed with high zinc, all in here, all down in there, on both sides. So I've also done underneath these floor rails here too, because once again it's a bit hard to get a spray gun in the boot area and then sort of up under there. So I've done that all the way around, including along here as well. So all of that has a good coating of paint. So that's all sealed up. Same with the other side here, that's all done. So what I'm now ready to do is just wait for this paint to dry off, and then I'll tech screw the boot floor in place ready for welding. I've got the panel in place, put all the tech screws in, a few clamps. I don't need as many tech screws along the back there because I can clamp and plug weld as I go. I do have a couple of tech screws in. What I've just been doing is just checking the MIG settings for the plug welding. I'll put a couple in. Adjust the MIG slightly in terms of feed, and I'm getting very good penetration on the other side, so I'm quite happy with that. So now what I'll do is I'll gradually go around, and I'll probably go along the back here first, every second, do along the back, do a couple on the edges, and then go to the rear and get everything locked up, and then go around and fill in all the gaps. And there are a lot of gaps to fill in, but it'll take a while, but looks like it's going to go in quite nicely. I've finished all the welding for the boot floor. I welded this from the outside. Penetrations come right through, so I'm pleased with the way the welds have gone. I've just tidied them up a little bit. I don't intend to lock them flat. The welds are strong, and this is a very large section of the car that I actually want to make sure it's quite solid and part of the total integrity of the body. The welds along this side went well. I've actually put a couple of stitches on the inside, not that it was really needed. Everything seems to be fine. Just turn this around a bit. Okay, welding right along the back, that's good. Quite solid. I'm welding on the inside. A little bit hard to get to with the rotisserie, but given time you can get to all of the welds. So they're fine. Welds on the end. This has strengthened all of this. Everything's quite solid. So that's the largest piece to be welded into the body. I've now got to finish these corner sections, lower corner sections of the rear. I'll just probably have to refit those slightly. When this has gone in, it may have changed the shape a little. I'm hoping it won't have caused too much of a problem. So I'll just set this section up, make sure the rear bumpers are fitting the right curve around the body. So it's getting closer to finishing this this part of the body. Certainly I haven't started the bonnet, but this is well, it's about 2/3 of the car, and it's probably going to end up taking about 2,000 hours, maybe a bit more. But as I say, it's coming together nicely, everything's straight, everything's solid, and everything fits well. Start again. Just need a little bit of help as to how this section welds up. Thing that confuses me is this piece sticking out. Now this is the repair section that I got. The front part is the repair section. So that's on there for a reason. Now the way I made the inner guard was to, a bit hard to see it now, this piece is all welded together, and it's as if this clamps up onto that and folds over, and then I'm not too sure what happens with this piece here, whether this is then cut, that folds down and plug welds onto that. I don't know, it's just a little bit confusing. All the photos I've seen seem to avoid giving a very clear shot of the finished product in this corner. So if someone could help me out on that before I go too far. I mean, I can make it fit, but I'm not sure how it was meant to fit. I can't see why this piece would still be sticking up, and I can't see why this piece would stick out, not to the extent that it is. And I really can't understand why you would fold that back over onto the inner guard, because it would more than likely cause a bit of a rust trap. Anyway, if someone can give me some advice, it'd be much appreciated.